planning for this to be a short sermon. I want to get in practice for the winter. Really feel as though they must be short. But before I get to my notes, well, actually this is part of my notes, I will have a challenge for you. All of you know that the Bible says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And all of you, I think, know that that doesn't mean that we should all be afraid of the Lord. Because perfect love casts out fear. And although your relationship with God, if you've never had any relationship with Him, might be one of awe, which borders on fear perhaps, that should go. But Solomon in the Proverbs says that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And the Hebrew word doesn't mean being frightened. It means respect and awe and recognizing that He's God and we're not. Which for some people is quite a recognition. It takes them a little effort. Because it's just inherent in us to think we're smarter than God. Oh, I know we wouldn't say it like that. But when it comes right down to a decision and we know what He said and then we know what we think, we often lean on that, don't we? So, but you've heard that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. But I have something else I want to ask you about in connection with wisdom. And this is from Proverbs. There's a verse in the Proverbs that starts out this way. And this does relate to our sermon topic, and I will connect it up, as Perry Mason used to say, to the judges. The first principle of wisdom is the first principle. This is a quiz, folks. You're invited to participate. The first principle of wisdom, the first principle of wisdom is, I'd like to hear many suggestions. I've told my wife not to be the first. She has something to say, but I want 3 or 4 or 5 of you to go first. Who's first? You know, I've been a school teacher and I can call on people, but I don't want to be driven to that. Come on, volunteers. The first principle of wisdom. There's no wrong answer, folks. They're all good principles, so whatever you say is a good principle, but try something. Love. Love? Wait a minute. Love?
Yes.
Love God? Who said that? Love God? Tim and Jean are in agreement. Love God. Who else has something?
Knowledge of God.
Knowledge of God.
Fear of God.
Fear of God.
Peace with God. Peace with God.
Peace with God. Trust in God. Another country has heard from. Yeah, He's here every day.
Obey God.
Obey God. Well, it's time for Beth.
I said humility.
She said humility. Not bad, huh, Trudy? That was good. Trudy liked that. I did too. Anything else, Reuben?
I like to add trust and say trust God in fear.
Trust God
In fear.
in fear.
Seek or persevere. Seek or persevere.
Seek
Persevere.
and persevere. Like that? I like that. Well, it's time for Solomon. Now, for a very, very wise man, what he has to say may seem pretty obvious to you. But I think it's interesting. And it's not something that I would have guessed. If you put me to this quiz, I wouldn't have ever come any closer than any of you. The first principle of wisdom is, acquire wisdom at the cost of all you have. What do you think of that? If you want it, go for it. That's what he's saying. The first principle of wisdom. Now we come to the two shortest parables. The introduction is where we've been. We've been through the parable of the tares in the field. Another sower was the enemy. The enemy is the devil. There are the children of the enemy that are here in the world, and God has his people, the good ones.